بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته everyone. As you all know, this is our Quran retreat. We're here for the sake of learning the Quran and understanding the Quran and reciting the Quran. And we know that Ramadan is, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said about it, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. So as our barnamij, our program necessitates, we're going through Surah Al-Fatiha. And the reason why we're going through Surah Al-Fatiha is because it's what we recite every single day in our Salah. And we know that there's no Salah, there's no prayer without Fatihatul Kitab, without Fatiha from the Quran. So inshaAllah ta'ala, we've done some of the first few verses, and now we're moving to the verse Malik Yawm Ad-Din. Malik Yawm Ad-Din. And obviously, for those who read the translations, you will hear the word Master of the Day of Judgment or Possessor of the Day of Judgment. So let's break this down inshaAllah ta'ala and try to understand the meaning of the words or the sentence Malik Yawm Ad-Din. This name Malik is one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ismun min asma'illahi ta'ala. It's one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the meaning of this word Malik is owner, possessor. This is what the word Malik means. This is what the word Malik means. Malik means owner and possessor, okay, of something. And the ulama of the Arabic language, they say that you can't call a person Malik, you can't call a person the owner of something, illa wa huwa yamlak shay, except that he owns something. You can't call somebody who's not a Malik, Malik. You can't call him. A person that doesn't own something, you can't call him Malik, for example. He may be in charge of it, he may be in custody of it, he could be a wakil, but he's not a Malik, he's not a true owner. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the possessor of Yawm al-Qiyamah. It's the day which belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But not only that, when we understand this word al-Malik separate from Yawm al-Din, we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of every single thing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in reality owns everything. And we are simply custodians or people that have been put in charge. Which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. That I'm putting on the earth a khalifa, a successor, someone to run the affairs. Okay? So this is very, very important. And once we understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns everything, then it should even give us the impetus to be very, very careful when it comes to dealing with other people and the rights of others, because everything is going to be asked about on Yawm al-Qiyamah. And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns everything, then we need to treat it with respect and inaya and ihtiram, and we have to make sure that every single thing is taken care of. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala goes on to say, as the ayah says, Yawm Ad-Din, this day Yawm Ad-Din. Yawm Ad-Din, in reality, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah. And deen in the Arabic language can have a lot of meanings. But in this particular meaning, the ulama of tafsir, they give preference to the meaning of al-jaza. It's the day of recompense, i.e. Yawm al-Qiyamah. So on Yawm al-Qiyamah, every single person is going to be given what they have done in this dunya, either good or either bad. So this day is the day that people obviously are going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to answer for their deeds. Now, some of the mufassirun, they say, why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specify Yawm Ad-Din? Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specify Yawm Ad-Din? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he calls himself Malik, Malik Yawm Ad-Din. But there's muluk of many things in the dunya, you know. Some of the mufassirun, they say, for example, Allah people own certain things. Why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say he's the owner of the Day of Judgment and didn't say he's the owner of other things, for example? The ulama say regarding this, لِأَنَّ الْقِيَامَةَ لَا تَكُونُ إِلَّا لَهُ. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called himself Malik Yawm al-Din, because Yawm al-Qiyamah, nobody else will have control apart from him. In this dunya, a king can have control of his country. In this dunya, a emir can have control of the land that he owns. In this dunya, a president can have the ability to govern the, if you like, the country that he governs, or whatever it may be. Whereas in Yawm al-Qiyamah, nobody is going to come with any ownership. No one is going to have the ability to do anything to anyone. So this is the day when people will see in reality the qudra and the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of every single thing. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified Yawm al-Qiyamah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specified Yawm al-Qiyamah because on that particular day, nobody will be able to do anything. Nobody will be able to speak. In fact, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the limbs of a person speak against their will, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, وَقَالُوا لِجُلُودِهِمْ لِمَ شَهِدْتُمْ عَلَيْنَا. People will say to their own skin, why are you being a shahid against us? Why are you being a witness against us? And then what will the skin say to Allah? قَالُوا أَنْتَقَنَا اللَّهُ الَّذِي أَنْتَقَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. That Allah has made us speak, who can make any single thing speak. So this day you'll have no control whatsoever about what is going on. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, you know, الْأَخِلَّا يَوْمَئِذٍ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ عَدُوٌّ إِلَّا الْمُتَّقِينَ. That close friends in the dunya, people that were close friends in the dunya, they were very close. That day, they're going to be enemies, except for who? إِلَّا الْمُتَّقِينَ. Except for people that they were friends in religiosity. They were friends in being God-fearing. They were friends in al-Islam and doing khayr. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of the Day of Judgment. From this name, Malik, we can get a sifa, we can get a characteristic of Allah, which is the fact that He owns. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala owns things. And obviously, Yawm al-Qiyamah and everything in the creation is under Allah's ownership. But Allah is specifying Yawm al-Qiyamah because of the importance of that day and because of the fact that no one's going to have control of Allah of anybody else on that day. So it's very, very important for us, especially here now when we're here reciting the Quran and we're here for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to get close to Allah, that we remember this stuff and we prepare for that day. If we can prepare for Yawm al-Qiyamah, inshaAllah ta'ala, you know, and we make tawbah and we try our best to do good deeds, and inshaAllah ta'ala, Allah will accept it from us. And even there's a qawl of Umar, as he said, you know, حَاسِبُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا. Hold yourself accountable before you're held to account. Now people may be, you know, very scared of Yawm al-Qiyamah, but the person who should be scared of Yawm al-Qiyamah in reality is the person who's not prepared for Yawm al-Qiyamah. The person who's forgotten about Yawm al-Qiyamah, for him it's going to be a shock. But the person who prepares for Yawm al-Qiyamah, it shouldn't be a shock for him. And you should even look forward to it, because the Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ أَحَبُّ لِقَاءَ اللَّهِ أَحَبَّ اللَّهُ لِقَاءَهُ. Whoever loves to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whoever wants to meet Allah and really yearns to meet Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yearns to meet Him. If a person hates Yawm al-Qiyamah and doesn't want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the wrong way. That's the wrong way we should think about it. And that's why another mas'ala, when it comes to maut, when it comes to death, when it comes to Yawm al-Qiyamah, when it comes to all these things, some people, they become ajiz. They think, oh subhanallah, everything's gonna, what's the point of doing anything? What's the point of doing anything? Okay? The companions asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "I'malu fa kullu muyassarin lima khuliqa lahu." Do good actions, for everyone will be, everything that's been written for you will become easy for you. So if it's written for you to be from Ahlul Jannah, then inshaAllah ta'ala good deeds will become easy for you and things like that. Now when it comes to, like I said, people becoming despondent and ajiz and almost unable to do any good deeds because they're frightened, these things come in the bab of akhbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is informing us, and He's not informing us so that we're afraid to die, so that we're afraid to meet Him. He's warning us of these things which are happening for isti'dad, for us to be ready. So as long as you've done isti'dad, insha'Allah ta'ala, there shouldn't be a problem. Which is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as you can. Okay? When Aisha radiallahu anha asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, you know, what amal, أَيُّ عَمْلٍ أَحَبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ subhanahu wa ta'ala, what action is the most beloved to Allah? He, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, said, أَدْوَمُهَا وَإِنْ قَلْ. The most repetitive, even if it is small. So inshaAllah ta'ala, Allah ending this, inshaAllah ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is master of the day of judgment. He's the one who owns the Yawm. Yawm means that it's the day of recompense, Yawm al-Jaza. It's the day in which we have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But we all have the fursa, we all have the opportunity right now to prepare for that day, inshaAllah ta'ala. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. And inshaAllah ta'ala we'll end it there. نكتفي بهذا القدر. وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.